Hey, it's me, Uncle Ricky. Good morning. It's Monday morning. It is, let's see, August the 21st. So, I guess you can call this a late edition of the weekend wrap up because I kind of screwed off all weekend and didn't cut one before the weekend was up. But that doesn't matter because it's still early Monday morning and the weekend just actually finished. So now I can go back and tell you about all things that were important this weekend. Well, first of all, let's talk about Mother Nature. Mother Nature is really kind of doing a whammy on the North American continent. The first tropical storm to hit the West Coast in over 70 years occurred yesterday, and I guess they named it Tropical Storm Hillary. But anyway, Hillary has pounded California, Southern California, with more rain in a few hours than most of the places that got hit by the storm experienced in a year. It also ripped up the coastal communities, the beachfront property in California, and in Southern California. And the thing is, it's like there's always been a standing, I don't want to say a joke, but a lot of people have always claimed that if you really want to get a big real estate boom, go ahead and buy property in western Arizona because in a few years it's going to be beachfront property. And between the tropical storm and guess what? An earthquake at the same time. There may be more truth in that than we really want to admit. But fortunately, even though the material damage was great, so far the death toll is low, and most of the communities that were affected seem to be recovering. But then there's a third factor, and that is due to the wildfires in Canada, which have been burning down for, the whole entire summer. The air quality, because of the smoke, the toxic fumes that are in the atmosphere that are being blown down by the wind patterns into the United States, the air quality all across the United States is down. So all you people that are having respiratory issues or more asthma attacks than usual, or your bronchitis or your sinus, you can't get it straight, blame Canada. Maybe perhaps now that the MAGA wing will want to attack Canada because of the wildfire smoke, just like they want to attack Mexico because of the quote-unquote amount of fentanyl that comes across the border. Fentanyl comes in many different ways, not just from Mexico. But it's just an excuse, just like everything else they want to do to promote their policy of taking over this country and turning it into their version of, I guess, heaven. I don't know. I don't think we can live in 1965 and 2023 because the rest of the world has changed. But I'm not going to get off on that rant right now. As far as other stuff, the East Coast is still being affected by the Canadian wildfires. I think Philadelphia a few days ago had the worst air quality in the country. Virginia has had decreased air quality because of those wildfires. There was, still massive, it's not as bad as it was, but there's still massive heat waves across the country. I think the 100 degrees every day thing has been broken in many of the places that were suffering. But the damage, to the crops, to the people, to people's attitude, the mental attitude of people in this country is decreased. There's studies out that show that we're not making babies like we used to because people just they're not certain about because of the economics, because of the hate, because of the world conditions, because of the possibilities of war, natural disaster. People are not that much into trying to raise a family. They ain't making no babies. Of course, the conditions on the southern border are out of hand, and I mean, it's becoming obvious that there is a migrant problem, and I don't think anybody ever really denied that there was a migrant problem. We don't have open borders. The Border Patrol, Homeland Security records show that they're deporting more people now than they deported, and turning back more people now than they did during the Trump administration. But yet and still, it's a invasion at the border. Trump had everything under control. Trump had nothing under control. The wall never worked. It was just a political talking point. It was just a stage. But that does not alleviate the problem. The problem can only be alleviated or modified or semi-corrected when we change our immigration laws. And I don't mean just saying nobody can come in. Yeah, that's a change, but that's like an extremist version. That's not going to help us either, because whether people want to admit it or not, whether people want to, whether they want to, accept it as a fact, migrants are a vital part of the American story. Always have been and always will be. And in one way, it's a shame to say it's because of the economic factor, because migrants will come in to get a foothold in this country. The right talks about the pull yourself up by the bootstrap principle, and they usually aim that at poor white people and black people, either as an inspirational note or either as saying that you're a bunch of lazy screw-offs. But the thing is, migrants, usually when they come to this country, they are willing to do the shit that the rest of us think that we are too good to do because we've been here. And those things have to be done. They are required to be done in order for the rest of the country to continue to operate. And if you cut them off, natural born citizens are not going to do it. And the natural born thing, most of us are always proud of, I'm proud to be born in America. I was born an American. Yay. There's country songs about it. There's R&B songs about it. There's, I don't know, there may even be some spirituals about it. But one of the big things among these modern ultra MAGA right wing, they want to suspend birthright citizenship under the guise of it's going to stop illegal migrants or even legal migrants from having babies here, and then the law allows them to stay to raise their children because their children are Americans. That's their camouflage. That's their duck blind. What they really want to do, and Trump let it out when he was in the White House, they want to suspend the 14th Amendment or rewrite the 14th Amendment so that a committee can decide who can be an American. Vivek Ramaswamy, even though his parents were migrants and he was a citizen by birthright citizenship, he wants to suspend the 14th Amendment to help cure the migrant problem. And he says it's only temporary. But at the same time, he wants to impose, and I'm not saying that he's, wrong, because other countries do this, but then you got to look at the history of the countries that do this, and you might be a little shocked. He wants to impose, mandatory government service, mandatory military service, and change the voting age to 25. Now, why he wants to raise the age to 25 and make it mandatory to serve in the military or mandatory to do government service, I don't understand. He also says that every American citizen, or everyone that wants to be American citizen, should have to pass the same exam that migrants take. And up to a certain extent, I can wrap my head around it a little bit, because people should be aware of how their government works. People should be aware of the history of their country. But see, this is where I stop. the history of this country is being rewritten by people like Ramaswamy, Youngkin, DeSantis. They are ignoring the facts and they are rewriting it to make it seem that people of a certain class or caste, and I'm not throwing out hints, just listen to what I'm saying, are the only ones that deserve to run this country because they are the ones that have historically made this country go. So everything else was just a contribution by a bunch of idiots and I don't know, people that benefited from the leadership of great rich men or great white people throughout the history of this country. Nothing else counts. Wouldn't have happened no matter how much labor people put in, no how much everybody else discovered anything, no matter how many lives were sacrificed from a particular segment of the population to fight the wars, whether right, wrong, or indifferent, that we have fought over 250 years. That doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what comes out of the mouth of rich, ultra-conservative, MAGA type people, because they are the alpha people. They're the alpha males, they're the alpha females, and they're the only ones that deserve anything. And this is evident when you look at Trump. Trump knows that he broke the law. Trump knows that he violated the Constitution. But he has basically admitted it over on several occasions and several interviews. But then again, he just turns around and dares America to live up to being American. In other words, I'm Trump. I represent the ruling class, and I am the head of the ruling class. I am the king of America. And the sooner the rest of you dumbasses get in line and accept it, even if you can't agree with it, just accept it, the better off you'll be. It'll never be me. It will never, ever be me. Well, that's it. I'm done. See you when I see you. And as always, thank God for being here. Peace out and God bless from Uncle Ricky at Uncle Ricky's house.